Hello everyone, welcome to a new YouTube video. It's been a long time since I last recorded, and as I said in some previous videos, I would focus mostly on my Patreon and Discord group, especially when things get really exciting. I know that at this point many believe that that time will never happen, especially when we measure the strength of a bull market on taking a look only at altcoins, which you have to remember they are the weakest assets, whether it's also small caps in stocks. They normally run at the end, which is what the Russell 2000 is doing, breaking all-time high. And that normally signifies like a push farther into the risk curve, running like rotating into the smaller caps. But people don't believe that it's possible because of all this chop we are being represented here we are seeing represented, here with BTC, and also every time BTC chops or corrects, we saw that in the push down from March 24 to September 24. This is very painful for altcoins, but you can't miss the forest for the trees. The majors keep pushing up, BTC keeps pushing up. We have broken all-time high twice this cycle, despite even having a correction in between, something that we didn't do in the previous cycle, as you can see here, until everything was already flying. So we can see that in RSI, by the way. So I'm going to show you why I believe this is reaccumulation. Everybody talks about distributions and accumulation, right? That has been very common this cycle because BTC has been chopping and pushing up in those kind of push consolidation, push correction consolidation kind of moves, right? It's not like one impulse, big correction, COVID crash, and another big impulse into the final move, right? This is why people think it's way easier to handle, that crypto is not the same, blah, blah, blah. We wanted big pockets in the game, and this is their game now, right? So you either adapt or you complain forever. That's all you can do. So RSI is still in a choppy trend, right? This is an impulsive trend, which is the biggest we have so far this cycle. October 23, pause in January. Many people calling the ETF top side for the cycle. Clueless, absolutely, because the bear market was already just beginning the new bull run. The bear market was already turning around here. And then the final second leg into an overheating at the end of this weekly cycle that needed to reset. Okay, so what we are doing now, this is a chop, right? We can see RSI going up and down, but still stuck in this range between 50 and 70, not fully breaking, which is a characteristic of some reaccumulation and also redistribution phases. Redistribution phases in a downtrend, you may make some stop in between, redistribute people who buy the bottom, which is not the actual bottom, so they can redistribute new positions and then finally capitulate into the actual bottom, right? The same thing with reaccumulations into the actual top, and that normally comes with very overheated levels in RSI weekly and also especially monthly. So this is a range. You might not believe what I say. You might think that I keep pushing bullish narratives. It's okay. In choppy periods, both theses, both bearish and bullish perspectives look valid because it's a chop. So every time a support holds, bulls get cocky. When it retraces, bear do, and it's just a chop. The thing is how to read this, or even this, to understand that the cycle isn't over or it is over, right? That's the key. Who's right in the end? Only one can be. So I take a look at this after this the end of the previous bear market, always marked by some kind of very oversold. You can see the top here in January 21. There is the vacancy into the top in March, very oversold into June, right? That got bounced, classic, trapping people that saying that we are back, especially those who buy the top and want it to be like a continuation because they are underwater and they need to get out, but they just joined late. The whole cycle was already consumed. So now we're still building strength, and we flip it. We flip all the weekly moving averages, which is all these lines, and we held them, right? this is really strong. It's confirming twice in high time frame for months that the trend is actually a new bull trend, right? But it takes time. All this is boring for many. It's exhausting. I remember 2023, people saying that this market is dead. We're not going to see anything moving because of this, the Ukraine, Russia war, because of inflation, because of rates, because whatever. It's a whole like 6 months of people speculating because they can't open a chart, accept that this is just the start of a new bull run and it needs to prove itself, and just freaking wait, right? So since I cannot wait, I start making hundreds and thousands of takes and theories here. And also you go to X, and big profiles are there to farm engagement, right? So they have to be posting constantly, and you buy them, and you get confused because there are so many takes. They all look valid, especially if you're inexperienced. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's going to happen, and you end up exhausted in a chop, which is why it's called chop. It chops both sides. So we can clearly see the behavior of RSI, right? You see this first impulse, right? A correction holding. The next impulse looks weaker in RSI, even printing a various divergence, right? But it's within this kind of 50-70 range that I've been talking about. Classic reaccumulation redistribution range, right? So it comes back down, but it holds the structure. So in the end, it is just chopping in this range, right? It is what we are doing now, right? After reclaiming the 50, we come back, retest it, right? Have some, you can see that this is like the reclaim after the turnaround. This is the first leg, the correction, holding. Okay, we're back. And now we have this chop, not as extended and as brutal. You can see even this huge weekly candle is pretty much filled again here, chopping everyone around. And we can see that initially we don't have any divergence here, but we could say we have it here, right? These two candles mimic each other, chopping. But the structure holds perfectly. We can see here the line that it's pretty much the previous close of the 2024 December. It's holding. Fake outs here to trap people. Fake out here with the crash we had in last Friday. The clearly manipulated crash. But we are still printing higher highs and higher lows. And the range continues. This is ranging. So now your question is, are we going to break to the upside or to the downside? Normally, cycles die in euphoria. Normally, right? You might think that's not the case. You go back to 2020, the COVID crash, the recovery, the chop. It looks endless from April to pretty much October. Again, several months chopping, people giving up. People even were giving up here in December right before the altseason when the market was already rising. Why? Is because altcoins weren't still rising, right? Not that fast, but they were, some of them. So the general feeling of people on X that, again, they never chart, they are just emotional. They start calling the team stupid because of the price action. You can clearly see when someone is insulting, you can clearly see they have no idea and they are just gambling on shitcoins, and when it doesn't work their way, everything is a scam, right? But the market kept pushing in an environment that was terrible for the whole world. We didn't know if we were entering a new era, blah, blah, blah. But you open up a freaking chart and you say, okay, we are recovering. This is a V-shaped recovery. We're back, right? And this is ranging. So if you don't trust this, you don't trust this either. If you think this is exhaustion and you misinterpret it with exhaustion because you go to Twitter and they tell you it's bad looking, and you open your portfolio and it's down, so then you conclude, yeah, it's down, it's terrible, it's going down. Now I ask you, how do you get new people into the new cycle if it's not by pumping price? How do you attract new players if all you do is depress them, right? The idea is to only attract people when it's the wrong time. So people who have no freaking clue only look at price. They first read on TV or watch on TV or read on in the internet something about crypto, something about gold now at 4K. They didn't even want to invest in the first place, but everyone is greedy, right? So when they tell you it's a good moment and they show you that price has been going up, okay, perhaps it is. That's why there are some countries in which people have been queuing to buy gold at 4K, not at 2K, not at 1.5, not even at 3K, 4K. right? You might think, well, but gold is doing well. That's what you see. That's what you hear. But people say they want to buy gold because it looks stable, but they clearly don't know what they say, because you open gold and this is the monthly chart for gold. So you tell me this is stable, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. This is a blow off top. This is nothing but stable. So now it looks unstoppable until it rolls over. It will eventually do, because who's going to keep buying? RSI 92, very overheated. So for crypto, apparently this is not possible, because they have inflicted so much pain that you don't believe anything. You want it to be real, but you don't believe it. You are completely traumatized. That's what time capitulation and chop does. A little push here to make your hope come back and then crush you again lower, and then you are completely done, right? Until you don't believe it's possible, and they send it all, leave people sideline, attract new people, start the machinery telling everyone that this is a good moment because the US government this, Trump that, BlackRock this, whatever, JP Morgan that, ETF here, ETF there. But that was already before the move. That is already what we are seeing, right? We are chopping, and all those narratives are already here. We are 2 weeks away from the almost 100 ETF pending to be approved by the most pro-crypto SEC in the US history, and months away from Trump choosing a new Fed chair, so Powell would leave. But again, you look at price and say, I don't care, I don't believe it. Yeah, you've been traumatized. That's the clear definition of trauma. You can't see what's real and what looks really good, because all the pain you have suffered invalidates it all, emotions, right? So you tell me that this chart was looking good in the worst and the most uncertain period in history, recent history at least, COVID crash, and it's still pumped. And here in 2021, everyone forgot about COVID, and it was Elon pushing Doge on Saturday Night Live. We had crypto announcements on the Super Bowl, and NFTs of rocks were selling for millions. So what I want to tell with this is, you should focus on data. You should ignore all the noise on Twitter, on the news, because that's designed to distract you and to manipulate you, to drive you into doing what they want you to do. Remember that this is a zero-sum game, which means if one wins, other loses. So if we have that clear, you should already know that no one here is trying to help you. No one, especially those that run the business, that run the show, that have created this economy that has enslaved us, which is why we want to invest and leave this fucking 9-to-5 grind, escape the matrix. Those, you believe, are the guys that gonna tell you that this is the best moment to make money, so you can earn your freedom, so you can, let's say, not accept shitty jobs because you have money and you can afford rejecting shitty job offers. Then who's gonna do the dirty job that is enriching them so much? So yeah, they will never tell you to buy when they buy, right? They will tell you to buy when they need to sell, right? That's why bear market bottoms historically always offer the best risk reward ratio, but these are always ghost towns. Everything's a scam down here. Ask yourself why tops are so crowded when it's the worst risk reward ratio, because the pump has already happened, or most of it. And why is this so crowded? Why is it the opposite? Manipulation, emotions. They know we're emotional. They know we don't have personality. That's why we come to X or to YouTube looking for someone else to tell us what the world is going to do next, right? Because we can't have like a strong opinion, a strong conviction and skills. We depend on others, and we think this world is great because we always have some resources to go to. But in reality, we are becoming weaker because we always depend on someone else. And when you depend on someone else, they can buy people profiles on X, pay people on YouTube to tell you what they want you to believe, right? Everyone's greedy, assume that. So the most neutral resource we have is data. So learn to analyze it, block the noise, and focus on what the chart is suggesting. It's not easy. It requires time, but this is your way to earn your freedom finally. But you need to block a lot. Remember, you are fighting against everyone else, right? So you have to be smarter and ignore what others say, right? I hope this video has been useful. I still believe we are in a strong bull run, and time will tell, right? If you're interested in knowing a little bit more or tracking the markets daily and in depth with live streams and charts and special videos and weekly recaps and all that, you can join my Patreon and Discord. And I will see you there if you decide to do so. Take care.